curious to see if some of the Georgia Bowl teams, they're going to kind of change up the strat, because we do have a lot of open looting space over towards the west.
It's a tough plane, but that's what I want to see on the first one. It's time for desperate measures. Chips are down. The teams have to play with their backs against the wall. The question here is who makes it work, who works the hardest, and who takes home everything and gets a chance to play for the PEL.
Best way to test them. Let's get into it then. Game number 1 here. Let's head over to our commentary team for all the action from Erangel.
Thank you very much, guys. Yes, I'm Lee D. Smith, and joining me is WTF Moses for these next 5 matches on Erangel. And of course, this is to decide exactly who will be in that final group setup tomorrow and onwards to see who's going to be joining the 10 teams in the PEL. This is literally your PUBG careers being set in stone here in Minsk. And as the desk just pointed out, I mean, that's as tough as plane as they get. I mean, you can get the Deep South channel plane as well, but it really makes it difficult. It makes it easy for everyone down south. It makes it very difficult. Oh, my God. And especially when the circle goes this way, it makes it very hard for the teams that are looking to go north. You've got to change your game plan right now.
Yeah, it really seems that if you have any designs on going to Zarki or to anywhere in that northwestern side of the map, even to major loot spots like Georgia Pole, the Gatka split, everything, is going to be very difficult to do so. SDF is already in vehicles headed that way, but there's a lot of prime looting real estate outside the zone, and already you can see that there's going to be some pressure, and it's going to be Zyphon getting the initial down and out. That is not the start that I imagined G2 wanted today, where a lot of teams, it's very top-heavy in this group, D-Man, where so many, that's just the way she goes.
It's just a straight naked shot. No. I mean, the Jokers, they finished yesterday on a high.
Strong,
They picked up the 2 chicken dinners, and you know, it launched them. They were in danger of like slipping out of that top 8, and it just launched them, solidified their position. And actually, in fairness, like some of the teams that are already there, like, you know, Penta, Avantgarde, these guys are pretty much safe right now. And that's almost more dangerous for the other teams because they're just playing for fun, you know, enjoying themselves. And that's often when teams can be more dangerous than ever.
Well, we kind of saw, at least as I was walking around, the tensions are pretty high. I mean, this is a big deal, and it's the biggest, really. I mean, the Pro League, this is the first-party situation that we've been waiting for. This is PUBG Corp committing to esports, and these teams all came in expecting to do well and had high expectations of themselves. So if you're in the bottom half of the leaderboard, especially in Group A, where it's so top-heavy, with Penta, of course, leading the pack with Avantgarde and company, that if you are outside the top 8, it is going to take every bit of effort to get in there today. And even if you're at the bottom, you have to be careful as well. So this is a big pivotal day. We're headed into, this is the last of the group stages. You cannot be making mistakes. And for G2, they find themselves first out of the lobby. And for another team that's been struggling, looks like Krabik is taking a tumble as well.
Yeah, G2 sticking with the game plan, it seems. And this, I've discussed this with Larson before, and I've been casting with him, and he's basically saying, like, obviously, you know, similar position for G2, South Georgia Bowl. It's a south plane. It's a long way to go. And he's like, well, you stick to what your game plan is because you know the area, you know the loot. It just means, yes, you're going to be coming in late, but it's fine. You just use the time. I mean, it's 4 minutes, and they've just got to their loot location. So they're not going to be moving until about 11, 12 minutes. They're going to be coming in and out of the blue playing edge, and it does change your game plan. It changes everything.
Yeah, I mean, it's just where...
eSuper sticking to it. They're actually going up to Zarki still.
That's a little questionable. I mean, Zarki committal here, at least maybe check Severny, scout it out, see if there's anybody there. At this stage, you're already 4 minutes into the game. It's going to be a long travel back, especially on that the western side of the play zone. Which will have a lot of pressure. You have Razak there. There's Yasnaya. There's going to be a lot of teams that are going to make it difficult to try and re-enter the zone from the northwest. So if you're a Suba, sticking to this is brave, to say the least.
Yeah. I definitely question that one. Like G2, I understand. So I get to South Georgia. I mean, they're there within 4 minutes. It's going to be 5 minutes. We're coming up on 5 minutes, and Suba are just arriving in their loot locations. So while the teams down the south, you know, are looking to rotate, look at TSM. TSM are already centering up. eSuper have just got there. So it's definitely going to affect it. We'll keep our eye on the teams and how it affects them. Obviously, eSuper being one of those points teams that are very much on the bubble. So it's going to be a tough old task for them. If I just quickly look at the points, Yeah, they're down at 1,544, so they're actually already 400 points behind Fenerbahce, who are sitting in that 8th spot. So pretty much everything. I mean, this lobby has sort of started to create that gap effectively between the top 8.
Right.
And it's a problem if you're outside of that top 8. I think Sans Domicile had a great first day.
We got 5 games too,
Isuba,
right?
yeah, I mean, there's a ton of points. Like even looking at Crew at the bottom, right?
Right.
900 points behind, but one game we've seen. If you one game, generally you're going to get like 10, 12, something like that frags. You're looking at 600 odd points.
Yeah, and I think that for Crew, and not to be too critical of the individual players, but just as a team, they just have not seemed prepared for the team fights that happen in the mid and late game, where when the pressure starts to mount, a lot of teams, at least in the bottom 8, have similar tendencies to freeze up a little bit, where you'll do the defensive tactics, deploy smokes, do what you can, try to make sure that you have time and space to take that fight. But when it comes time to actually commit to a 2v1, or we saw this with Method too yesterday a little bit, where they had the right ideas in defense, but never really translated that to offense. So for Crew, they need to start winning some team fights, and in this case, we have a 1v1.
Tab has no clue.
He's got no idea he's there.
No idea. He's just sitting looting. Oh, well, now he has, because in comes the teammate just cruising along the road. He's trying to be all stealthy-like, and then Tab's like, oh, there's someone about to run up past this road. But he's going to be running over to try and find Koski. He's looking straight over there. He's not going to be looking towards Boyaki, who's right next to him. Now he does. Boyaki turns around. Oh, my God. That was so close to going wrong.
Rough.
That was close. Tab goes down, though, so Jokers lose the one. Tab is the one that got the kill early on as well. Meanwhile, you can see Erangel making their trip over the bridge. And this is the tough one, right? When the circle goes this way, this trip over the bridge is very risky for Erangel. They know that Penta are going to be close by. You can see Chris in the distance there, but they have got over safely over the bridge.
So for those who are not up to speed, I should say, on how exactly this all works, we are currently in the group stages, and then once this is settled, the top 8 teams from both groups go into the final day, where the top 10 teams will then make it into the Pro League, and those remaining will be shuffled down to Contenders. So not making it out of the group stage does not necessarily guarantee your appearance in Contenders, but you do need to have some decent performances, and really the getting out of the group stages is the bare minimum for pros, or at least those who call themselves pros, to get into the PEL, or at least into Contenders, because we do see it a lot of the time where just because you're competing doesn't mean you're necessarily at that top level. But there are definitely options, but this is a big deal getting out of groups.
Very big deal, and there might be a few wondering where the likes of FaZe and Liquid and Knights, etc. are. They are directly invited to Season 1. I must make that clear. Season 1, there will be promotion relegation as the year progresses. 3 seasons of the PEL will play out throughout 2019 with various international tournaments in between, along with promotion and relegation between the Contenders, which will be effectively the 2nd division, which will be played online. The PEL will be played on LAN, on location. So it's really going to be some big things coming to PUBG in 2019, and this is the first stepping stone into it. Erangel making themselves known on the south of Milton now as they work their way in. Looks like Penta have decided Farm is going to be their home for now. It is relatively central location. TSM, as I mentioned, they rotated on the 5-minute mark, so everybody else that's coming in now is looking for those central spots, and it's a little close as Alpachinki blasts straight pay Gamer Legion.
It's kind of bumper cars out there right now as everyone's crossing paths in this first rotation phase. I think conservative style play is kind of what we see in most first games. We see X Team take down Asbrin at distance, D-Mash taking some long distance shots at the transitioning Fenerbahce Esports. But a lot of crowding happening on the western side coming into the zone, and definitely around that Milta area as well. Erangel just on the north side of the first bridge. Ooh, look at that headshot. That was a nice one. Maxazor, he's been putting on a show, D-Man. I mean, every time we see him, he's doing something impressive with that Car 98.
Yeah, I mean, in fairness, the guy he shot was also shooting one of Erangel, so they're kind of like it's mutually assured destruction back and forward. But both of them will be revived. Morman himself, victim of the buggy, I believe, there. Looks like he's going to get himself back on his feet. That's a team that really needs to step it up today, Alliance. A lot of pressure on them, that's for sure. Some strong names in that lineup, but it is a a fairly new lineup as well. So
interesting commit. It looks like Alpachinki is committing to the tempo dip here. They've got 2 vehicles between them, but they're on the north side of the zone. They're a little bit off center. If this thing shifts south, they're going to have a hard exit out of that spot.
yeah, looking around the shelter, I mean, obviously this circle, it's certainly, we've seen this one posting up into Milta. We've seen it going up towards Prison Way. There's a lot of options. It could also swing over to Milta Power. A lot of options. I mean, it could even just swing straight backward to Potato Hill, where Zuktat Namar sat right now. Zuktat Namar team that had a relatively decent first and second day, but kind of dipped off towards the end of yesterday. So also going to get some performances. Crew just to the south of them, of course, at the bottom of the table right now.
Suba stuck out in the blue still. That's a long trip back from Zarki.
11 minutes, yeah, they're just passing shooting range here. So 11 minutes, as we mentioned, they got there about 5-6 minute mark. They got into their loot phase. So they've really had a short loot phase as well.
Yeah, puts a lot of pressure on you when you go that far out. T-Bone. Alliance, another team that's on the bubble. If they can put together a couple of decent games similar to what they did yesterday, they had some okay finishes. They might be able to crack that top 8, but it's at least from what I've been hearing in the lounge, that Alliance is struggling a little bit with the pressures. So hopefully that they can stay strong mentally and try and keep it together here in the last day. And there it is, the south shift.
Yeah, 600 points off it at the moment, Alliance, off the top 8. So that's the marker we're all looking at today. We're not looking at who's going to be top in the table, although that's always a bit of a winner.
7 is not going to punish Alpachinki. They knew they were there in the dip, and 7 has left in their vehicles already.
Oh, OHM might try to. They're really going to try and ram him off the bike. Doesn't really work that way. Alpachinki not punished by 7, but they are punished by OHM, who need the points as well. All these teams fighting for survival. Alliance, by the way, their rotation. They were on the edge of prison. They've got themselves a free run all the way down the western side, eastern side, sorry.
Coming in Milta
into Lumber Mill and the edge of Milta.
Joker's picking up a free crate in their transition. Steph taking some long-distance 3x shots at Alpachinki, who's been getting a lot of pressure. They got out of the tempo dip relatively easy, but now are finding themselves getting lots of pressure in their next rotation. Haven't gone too far. They've only gone up by the shelter.
TSM choosing to stay where they are as well. They're,
nice 2-2
they're keeping a nice 2-2 either side of the road. Yeah. Sort of standard setup. OHM, he's pulled up. He's not expecting Melman to be there. I don't think Melman showed his self yet. No, he absolutely will. Yeah, you're in the compound. He sees the vehicle. He's like, well, we know you are, mate. Just going to get around the side. Campergood's going to be the man. Some top fraggers on Tornado Energy Battle. Been picking up a lot of kills. Melman right at the top of that table. He put a big dent in TSM's hopes yesterday. Senya's sending it in, but he's going right into Fenerbahce. That's only going to go one way. Marco Delvecchio and BSD finding an easy frag there on Senya. Joker's not having a good time of it. 2 men down already.
Crashing in like that is pretty brazen, but it's going to cost Senya, and that's a big loss for them, as Senya's been performing quite well. You can see that pedigree of aim and professionalism from his Counter-Strike days showing here in PUBG, where when he gets his lines on a target, he will take them down with relative ease. But joining in with TSM, this is a really strong split by them in the mid-game. They're a little bit north, but the water should be adjusted out here. So for TSM, they should be able to ride this 2-2 split to a relatively decent position through the end game, judging on what the next phase is going to look like. We've shifted so far south that it does include the channel between the military island and the main island. But for OHM, they have not had an easy transition as they've been being picked apart. At least pressured, and looks like Xian's all by himself. Oh my God!
It's okay.
All right, I didn't see the vehicle smoking.
Death by bike.
That's the end of that.
Speaking of splits, by the way, Alliance is split. I like it. I actually quite like it. So they've sent Sigzy onto the edge of Milta. The other 3 are sitting off to the east side of Milta. So you can see Sigzy's kind of gone in that center, just the edge building in Milta. It's like, if it swings this way into the city, we've got our compound already. If it pulls away, fine. Doesn't matter. We've not lost too much. We've not committed too many resources to it. Just the one guy holding position. G2 kind of edging their bets as well, starting to make a move as well. As the circle continues to shrink down towards the south.
I wonder what Asuba's going to do here. It looks like they're just going to try and sneak in on the eastern side, but we've already talked about it. Alliance has a split setup there. G2 coming in a little bit south on the coastal area. They've got a nice setup here on the line of sight just outside of Milta. They should be able to see into the town. Not a lot of activity available from this spot unless Asuba walks into their trap. Steven in the compound a little bit further off. Joker's in the center. and we will see another phase shift where I imagine we're going to head north.
Tornado split's just about perfect. They plumb center of the circle at the moment with a 2-2 either side. They have themselves a good setup. Of course, all these teams have been performing well. Jokers themselves down to 2. Had a very strong finish yesterday, though, so they've accumulated a number of points to keep themselves in a relative safety. And that actually may be the thing, right? While obviously there are teams chasing, teams like Jokers that are already at, what, nearly 2,700 points, we estimate the cutoff is going to be around about 3,000 to 3,300 points. That's going to be sort of that 8th place cutoff at the end of today. It's like the way it's accumulating, about 1,000 points, 1,100 points a day. Sort of that's what you're looking for. That's what teams are kind of gauging towards. Obviously, you look at Penta, they're already 3,000 plus, Erangel 3,000 plus, so they're all sort of relatively safe. Game of Legion almost as well after a great performance yesterday. Also close to being safe. So those teams, they're not going to risk it. That's a big swing. It's a big hard shift down into the southwestern corner. And it does put Avant-Garde split perfectly. Penta probably should accumulate. They are 4 spread across the farm, and that's a big territory to try and defend now. Probably going to get clashed by TSM.
Yeah, that's an unfortunate turn of events for TSM, who are now going to have a very hard time getting into the zone, or at least finding what they had, which was a very nice split up in the north side of the zone. So it looks like Gustav and Wookie Book, you're going to rejoin Turtle and Rari across the way, and that northern side, that transition south, is going to be messy.
Is it Vanguard really going to commit to this split? I feel like they should be going to mini farm. They should be committing to just get 4 people in there. It's a good compound. It's got a wall all the way around it. It's still a big compound, but to commit there, they're going to get clashed by G2. G2 almost certainly going to crash down on this coastline. Alliance are going to push across to hold that much territory. I feel is a bit of a greedy land grab at this time. You can see THZ already coming in close to Avant-Garde as well. Meanwhile, in the top there, SDF, they're kind of split apart, getting picked off. Alpachinki picking up themselves a kill on Sezco there in the rotation. TSM going to play northern edge. Game of Legion deciding to swing it round, but they're looking to come in the backside of Zuktat Naman crew.
Avant-Garde not condensing into one squad is an interesting choice, but I think if they make enough noise, they should be able to repel any direct invaders. You know, I think it should be okay for them. The north-south might be all right, but
he left. I think THC came in. He left this compound, right? He had this building. He's decided probably a little too risky. Speaking of risks, crew, you got 4 people downstairs, Ropchat. Not too sure they're invited house guests. The Zuktat now decide to come in. Game of Legion instead choosing to go right round the western edge. Going to work out. They find themselves a free compound down there. Isuba also obviously still, they're effectively nomads in this game. 17, 18 minutes. They're still fighting with the blue edge.
Rupture's not feeling very good here. Trying to make his escape in the smoke with all of Zuktat Nam looking out behind him, just trying to spam him down. He's got the smokes down in retreat. He actually might get away here.
Worked out well from Alliance. They've managed to clock one onto Compot. That's over on the eastern edge of sort of the south edge of Milton now. Should be an easy revive for Compot. That's the second time Compot's been down though. So obviously this all adds up. You know, chipping away resources, chipping away armor, health, etc. Meds. Alliance just working away. And I like this position. I feel it's always easier and safer to come from the Milta side if you've got to work your way across the fields. There's a number of dips and buildings. Here's the vehicle. Oh, picked off the back of the bike. You hate to see it. It happens, though. And this was the clutch into farm, of course. OHM trying to send it into farm, and they were eliminated in 16th place.
So TSM is going to sneak in on the north side. Zupa and Swaka are down.
I wonder if that's a bike flip. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like it is. So unforced error. Well, not really unforced, but unfortunate, I should say. Oh, actually, Macindark is the one getting the down or the kills there. So looks like that was Gamers Legion doing the damage.
Oh, the crew have evacuated, so they've gone right down south. That's very close. Ooh, didn't quite see Kestron, I think, down there. Alliance and Tornado continuing to trade blows over on the eastern side. But it is crew that have managed to get themselves the 4 together, tapped up. Isuba, ooh, they're down to just the 2. Or is it just the 1? Is it Frico? No, Frico, there is 2 of them in that compound.
Looking at the way the map has set itself up, there's some decent space here. And this is going to be the water now coming out of the zone, so it should go north. That might be a benefit for a team like Penta, who's got that farm locked down. Penta right atop that leaderboard, so this should be another good game for them. We'll see what happens with the shift. Here it comes. and it is exactly as expected. All the water comes out. Penta looking very good. TSM is going to be able to hold that northern side, but they're going to run out of some space here. But again, that western side, that's going to be where the crunch is, and this is the death circle. Where trying to get in and find real estate is going to be very difficult. G2 already trying to make their run, and Avangar going to punish.
And it's so hard to make this push from the western side into sort of those compounds. Yeah, it's just open field. The ditches are already occupied. You can see Fenerbahce have kind of got that 2-2. Probably want to consolidate it. It's risky to hold the two compounds now. Penta getting crashed. You can see this is the problem with Farm. Farm is so big. TSM move in. Perfect rotation from TSM. They've occupied, got in the house, untouched, and basically in the center of Farm. They put themselves in a great position there. TSM absolutely chasing the points. Zucked Nam, they've lost one. Alpachinki catching them out. This is the tough push. I like Gamers Legion's thinking, okay, let's go down on the coastline, use that beachhead defilate to our advantage as they can try and squeak their way in.
Pretty crowded little house there for TSM. They did get a nice center position. They are now splitting Penta basically in two. And for Fenerbahce, they are going to be the gatekeepers on the western side. Alliance getting some pressure from Tornado Energy Battle on the east. And here come the nades trying to follow that up. That second nade looks like it might make its way across. But as T-Bone down, looks like he's basically out. There's going to be a quick finish here for Tornado.
Ooh, no man, missing that one as he's crawling away. We'll finish it the second time. If he keeps on flanking round, he'll have a clean angle on Michael as well. That Kar98 could do work, and this is the problem for Alliance. They're looking at two different sides here. Having to peek across to the right and to the left. Here's Melman landing the shots. Oh, nice! He caught it with the Kar98 just as he left and finished it off with the spray. Beautifully done. Zucked now getting picked apart. Meanwhile, back in the north, they've continued their rotation. The Super sending it right around the north as Alliance try and work their way through the smoke. Of course, we have a better vision in the smoke than they do. Yeah, Zucked now. So they found a little bit of a divot, but look at this. This is what we're talking about.
There's in the open. Like, I'm surprised Alpachinki is not going to... Well, actually, they can't see. They're just going to help Crew dismantle Zoktin Nam out in this field. Crew's got almost no cover to work with. Michael's found himself a shack to hide in the northern section of the zone. And look at this. Kamka's got a crawling flank occurring.
It's just the other side of the UAZ. The grenade's going to come in. That's going to smash on the vehicle. And now they're just going to light it up. Turns around with a nade himself. Got to be careful. We've seen these swinging. I think of Timmy yesterday. Kamka surely certainly going to get him around the back. Yeah, easy frag onto back of 60. Michael has sent it away and got out of there. So he's going to be safe. But he is the last man standing for Alliance. It's been a torrid tournament for them so far.
This is going to be rough, but now the movement from Gamers Legion on the western side, they're going to be moving right past 7. They've got eyes from Fenerbahce Esports as well. Zoktin Nam still under tremendous pressure out in this open field. They're basically stuck. No utility will save them there. Gamers Legion now getting some pressure in return from 7 as the nades land right on top of Karabik.
Yeah, nothing you can do about that one. 7 collecting points. Fenerbahce looking for points. Gamer Legion in all sorts of trouble.
This is a bit of a mess out here.
One more nade. That's all they need. Ooh, that return nade could be big. No, it's gone a little short. It's gone a little short. Mumino is safe from that one, but 7 have got themselves a nice little ditch. That second nade's definitely closer to Mumino, but he's just going to step away from that tree. Meanwhile, Penta, of course, plumb center, still split across the farm, have themselves a decent angle across. I would say the downside of their position is you don't have that far a look because there's quite a lot of ridges around the edge of the farm.
Here comes the shift, and it's going to pop a little bit south of
Molly caught him. The Molly caught him.
I'm on fire.
No, his own Molly. It was his own Molly he tried to toss up there.
He's killing himself.
I think he's just going to commit to it and just crawl into the flames. No, he's going to get away from it. But his teammate is also down.
No, he set himself on fire again. Enuctive, please. One G's in the chat.
Yeah, Max Isaac finished off. THZ finishes out. So that's a double for THZ. And, well, the second one came. He must be laughing. I mean, he didn't need to do anything about the second frag. But either way, Mac and Dark picked off. That's all happening over the side. The circle has shifted. It's gone another southern shift. It pulls the edge of the farm inside it. TSM, Penta, all safe inside there. Avangar, well, they've decided. I don't know why Azran's decided to go across the fields. I guess he's trying to get in that early position, but it puts him in pressure position. Snoopy left alone in the compound. A Tornado Energy battle all around him. Meanwhile, 7, the last revive coming through there. Azran has been found. Surprise, surprise. Kamka's going to pick up that kill.
GL got eliminated through that as well. We saw Gamers Legion go down.
And they are... Well, they had a good day yesterday, so points-wise, they're fairly safe. They only really need to collect a couple of hundred today overall 5 games, so they should be in a good spot. Crew, They need points. Rupture, the last man standing with the rest of his team trailing behind, actually. Tell lies, he's not the last one.
This north side D-man is going to be crazy. I mean, there's look at this big gap in the play zone in the center.
Tornado are going to clean up. Sure. Yeah. I mean, they're at the top, so Isuba's just been picked off. They go down in 13th place. Michael's still up there in the north. Might be able to crawl in the back of TSM, use them as cover. Zuktatnam out in the fields along with Alpachinki, mutually assured destruction between the two because they both have a really torrid push. Remember, we already saw Zuktatnam's vehicles down and out. Alpachinki themselves have got in the vehicles. They're sending it into Farmer. They're going crashing into the backside of the buildings. They might be safe. There's one building blocking them from Penta, which gives them exactly the same cover that Zuktatnam are trying to use there to work their way in. 7, well, Edelweiss is the only man standing for them. He's way out on the west as Fenerbahce have also actually managed to get close.
No.
Inside. Oh, you're coming in. I'm coming in hot. I've got flames on my car.
Penta might punish this.
Oh, the nade! No. The nade from Chris catches all 3 members of Alpachinki just as Edelweiss had shot one in the back and wipes out the whole team. And that's just, they were in such a great spot. They were like, yeah, we took a lot of shots, so we managed to batter down 7, do damage to Zuktatnam.
The vehicle down is just like the predecessor of all disaster in this game. Penta recognized that someone had gotten knocked and they started chucking grenades. Penta grenades have been massive through this entire tournament, and that's another huge Chris nade.
Well,
yeah, it's always Chris who's just like dunking on people from distance with those grenades.
And now he finishes Edelweiss out as well. That's 4 frags for Chris, leading kill scorer and damage dealer, I believe, throughout the tournament, certainly in Group A. Alliance goes down 9th place, so it's 100 points for them gained. But the problem is everybody around them is already up there as well. Fenerbahce losing 2 players. Zuktatnam losing Vasku there. Fantastic last man standing. It's Penta that are gaining from all this. The circle shifts. It goes still on the edge side. There's a big ridge line. Tornado Energy Battle have that ridge, and I feel it could play into the final couple of circles.
It looks like TSM is going to benefit here as well. They're going to maybe maintain a little bit of cover for a little while. Penta in a similar situation. Tornado Energy Battle is already setting up to try and get as many frags as possible as that southern side is quickly becoming emptied as SDF is trying to find a way in, or at least can try, with Jokers also getting some pressure from distance. The nade follow-up, that's one bounce, is getting kind of close. Oh, just on the top of the ridge. And Kemba says, no, you cannot come in. Okay, maybe. I'll reconsider.
I'll open the door. Fenerbahce trying to send it. They're getting around the side. Marco Davecchio very close to the Jokers. Kemba realizing and probably not going to be able to hold this revive. He's looking to try and do it. For Marco is going to go for the frag.
Here we go.
Use that smoke. He doesn't have a helmet. Kalimdor also trying to send it across. Zonk's going to get sniped out. Snoopy, by the way, is the last man standing for his team. They do get the revive off, and Kemba is out.
He can't see in that. Remember, there's a lot of smoke there. So for Marco, he's going to see the door open, throw a nice underhand. I don't think that got on the door either.
That's on the lip of the door, isn't it? Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
That was so unlucky. That would have been a knock on Dimash, almost certainly, and that's going to catch Kemba.
Oh, that might get both.
That might get both. They've got to get back inside. They've stood on top of it. God. Oh, well, he just about got around the corner. Dimash going to try and come through the smoke. Marco surely sees him. Just going to get a silhouette. Got no bullets left. Catches him round there, and Dimash will finish him off. Kalimdor and Zong. Zong just got down by Snoopy.
1v1.
Jokers are getting saved here. Kalimdor versus Dimash.
This is very difficult. It's just smoke. No one can see anything right now. Kalimdor and Dimash are set up for another similar situation that Kemba just found himself in.
So just using this chaos that's going on right now between the Jokers, Fenerbahce, and Avangar, Udia has actually moved into position. Marco will finally flush it down. Kalimdor in there as well. So Jokers go down in 7th place. Zonk will get finished off by Udia. So Udia, you can see, he's just moved out.
I think he got a
repositioned. He's not gone for the crate yet. He's just moved up around the side there to try and get a better position, because the rest of them are going to have to make the southern route and cover off with TSM.
I think Penta is going to have to deal with this team fight in the top. Oh, TSM is making a vehicle push. Gustav out in the Dacia, just trying to reposition. He takes one off the face.
Yeah.
They need some help here. They need covering fire. And now Wookie Bookie might get down if he's not careful. TSM has been super passive, only because they had good cover, but now they have to fight Penta.
Snoopy and SDF, you can see in the picture-in-picture down the bottom here, they're getting close to each other. So Sans Domicile and Avangar, the 2 solos, meanwhile Chris, the lead-in damage dealer.
He's not messing around.
He's looking for frags. THC goes down, so that's Sans Domicile picked off. Melman, of course, doing the work there. And the circle centers up to exactly where Udyr just moved to. So they've got a foothold for the rest of Penta to move into. The question is, have they got any vehicles to try and send it?
TSM needs to punish Penta if they try and move out, but now it's kind of a staring match at the north side of the zone between Penta and TSM. They both have to move now. The smoke's coming out from Penta. TSM needs to be Johnny on the spot, but they're going to allow Kaint out without punishing him. Not sure what the line of sight looks like from TSM's vantage, but Penta is going to take the zone on TSM, which could spell disaster, and that's a big issue for TSM. They need to try and get some utility out. They need to follow suit because Chris is going to get out as well. Penta has taken the zone.
And this is great for Penta because they've now got themselves that sort of ridge line that they can get a little peek onto towards Tornado. Their only real threats are Snoopy and Calendar behind them, and of course TSM that are trying to make that move as well. TSM though have to now move into this. As you say, they are late moving. You can see the vehicles already there as well. They're getting picked apart. Chris holding the last angle, which is perfect for Penta. They've got this double-edged sword that's coming straight towards TSM. There you go. Chris catches
Tornado's going to help them too. I mean, Tornado's got the high side on TSM. This is now looking like TSM's completely sewn up. This is going to be a bloodbath.
Well, 5th place may well be all they reach. There's a couple of solos still down south that are going to sit and watch the carnage go out, but it's between Penta and Tornado who can pick up the most frags on TSM right now.
That is surprising inaction from TSM. Maybe Tornado turns their attention now to Penta and helps them out a little bit, but Penta's going full aggression on Tornado. They've pushed the ridge.
Yeah, like you say, Kamka just got tagged by him. It immediately turned Tornado towards them, but look at TSM. They're just getting picked apart.
The zone's there too. They're done.
Walkie, the last man in the zone, out in the blue, going to bleed out. There we go. TSM down in 5th place, and now Penta and Tornado will turn their attention. And, well, Fenerbahce and Avangard are just benefiting from this. Kalimdor just creeping on, which is great points, by the way. Fenerbahce were on 8th place. They were on the bubble, so any more points for them is very much... I don't know what I'm trying to say. But either way, Tornado, Penta, and Avangard, they are pretty safe. So this doesn't affect the rest of the group because these guys were already on 3,000 plus points. Tornado will be plus there as well. It's Fenerbahce that are a problem because they're the teams that people are chasing. They're the teams that the alliances of the worlds that went down in, what, I think 9th place are looking to try and capture.
So for Fenerbahce, securing that spot, very important. But now it's about Penta and Tornado. It's going to be a 4v4. Avangard on the south side. Snoopy's there as well. And looks like they're going to do a low side flank. They're sending 2 to try and get around Tornado, leaving Kaint and Chris behind. And Tornado might get surrounded, but looks like Breaksco is not going to just do anything other than maybe just play defense on that low side, but he might get naded out if he's not careful.
Next team down low in that bush. Chris is looking for him, but can't see anything. Don't expect too many shots from Snoopy or Calendar. They're just going to try and creep their way in.
They want placement here.
They may actually see each other the way it's going. That may be the one that separates it. Udyr gets a peek over, finds Kamka.
Here comes the push, I think, on the high side. Kaint and Chris will probably want to push this a little bit, but they're very, very wary about what's happening behind them as well. Just looking out for snakes. There's another finish. Udyr going to pick up another kill. Wondering now.
Breaksco's flank. Breaksco's flank gets around, doesn't do the damage. Got caught out, but he's managed to back away from it safely.
He's just basically trying to probe, I would say, on that low side, allowing Chris to get further out into the zone. They've got, look at, I mean, Penta's zone control is very good. They're keeping Tornado on the edge, and they can't get in, and they're forcing people into Chris in the open. So there's no real movement here for Tornado. This is a really, really nice play from Penta from a strategic standpoint.
X-Team somehow lives and survives. Snoopy continues to creep through the hay bales. You can see him down low. Chris, like as you mentioned, they're very much aware of what's coming in behind them. They're aware that there's teams back there because they heard, obviously, the fight between Jokers and Fenerbahce. So they're aware of what's back there. They know there's at least someone, but I'm pretty sure they realize there's 4 ahead of them.
I think they push on Tornado if it wasn't for these snakes. They're very mindful of that.
They have a great split. I mean,
12 kills,
you can't see the map because we've got a picture-in-picture, but they have Udyr and Brexico to the north of the circle, Chris and Kaint down the bottom, completely flanking around this ridge line, and Tornado kind of penned in effectively now.
Perfect example of map control in the end game for Penta. They're just not allowing Tornado to do anything. Like, they can't move. They have to run down a hill to get anywhere near X-Team, and then they can just nade them to Kingdom Come.
Kalimdor and Snoopy both inside the circle. Look at this. All 4 Penta have just gone right. Let's flush the south. They're going to be down here. Let's flush the south. Clear our backs. We know their back here somewhere. Chris is going to try and find Kalimdor. Should get an angle on him in a moment. Doesn't look. Sees Snoopy. Gets caught in the back. Oh, it doesn't quite get flushed. Yes, he does. Chris flushed out there. Udyr will finish him off now. Avangard and Tornado trying to benefit from it. Tornado going to try and go for the aggression. They realize that Penta went for the flush action. It's now a 3-on-3 with Avangard, Snoopy just sitting in the fields.
Hold, Kaint. Oh, he's shooting at the snake.
Melmac, Compo, what have you done? He's
no.
just down his own teammate. Oh no, you hate to see it, but well, winner. Chicken dinner, 16 kills, and Penta benefit from, I don't even know what just happened there for Tornado at the end.
I think it was a crossfire of some kind, but I think
it's one of those moments where someone just runs across.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I got him, and someone runs straight across in front of you. Yeah, and look at it. You can see the little discussion of like, what just happened,
what the
guys?
hell, dude?
Yeah.
I mean,
and ironically, I haven't got second out of that.
Yeah,
because
and that was
of
just
the catastrophe.